Okay, so we are starting with the function module, and the function is basically a block of code that performs a specific task. The function takes a input, performs some calculations on the input, and generates the output. So as you can see, it's basically specified with the keyword func, then the function name, then we write the parameter name, then its type, and then the return type of the function, and inside we have the function body as usual. So this is the type of function declaration that happens. It starts with func keyword, allow the function name, its parameters, and return types. That is what you have to remember. That's it. Now let's begin with the sample function, which is calculate bill. This takes the price of the single product and number of products as input parameter and calculates the total price by multiplying these two values and return the output, right? The above function, which is main, is in here. We are calculating bill, but we'll come back to later. This calculate bill function has two input parameters, as you can notice, price and number of type as in, and it returns total price, and that will be having the type integer. So integer is the return value type, and if the consecutive parameters are of the same type, we can avoid writing the type each time, and it is enough to be written once at the end. Like here, I'm gonna remove int because price and number was of the same type int, and it will work fine now as well. Now that we have the function ready, let's call it somewhere our main, right? The syntax for calling it is the function name and passing the parameters it wants. Apparently the calculate bill wants price and the number, which should be two integers. So it's pretty straightforward. Now let's run it. As you can see, the total price is 90 into 60, that's 540. Now let's go to multiple return values of the function, right? We have it's just possible to return multiple values from a function, and we have this rect props function, which takes the length and width of the rectangle and returns both the area and parameter of the rectangle. The area of rectangle is the product of length and width, right? And the parameter is twice the sum of length and width. So that's what we are doing. And yeah, so this function, as you can see, the point to note it is returns multiple values that are of type float 64. One is area, one is parameter, right? Now we are calling it in the main as defined before, and let's just run it. Yeah, so you can see it returned two floats, area and parameter, as expected. Now let's just talk about the named return values. The named return values are nothing but when we name the return values. So it's possible to return named values from a function. The return value is named. As I said, it can be considered as being declared as a variable in the first line of the function. So here what I'm gonna change is I'm gonna write that area and parameter are of float 64 type. And why is it popping here now? Because we have already declared in the function definition that we will return area and parameter, so no need to define them here now again. So I'm just gonna remove var and parameter. So I think now it works fine. So again, that the statement does not explicitly return any value, it just returns two variable, area and parameter, as specified in the function declaration as return values, and they're automatically returned from the function when the return statement is encountered. So yeah, we don't need to write area and parameter here. They will be already set area and parameter in variables. So now we can just simply run it, and you can see it doesn't change and it's calculating the value. Now we move to the blank identifier, which is this an underscore. This is known as a blank identifier in Go. It can be used in place of any value of any type, and yeah, let's see what it does. So the rectangle prop function returns the area and parameter. So it's area and parameter. I have not used named variables just not to confuse you. And what we only need is the area and want to discard the parameter, let's say. So what we are gonna do is, when we are gonna use or call the function rectprop, we're just gonna discard the value by adding a underscore there. So here, if I run this, I'll just print the area and not the parameter. So I can do it vice versa. I can say here and parameter, and what I'm gonna do is, now we're gonna use parameter here, parameter, and yeah, as you can see, it works both ways. So you can discard the values basically by using an underscore, what we call as a blank identifier. So yeah, I'll see you in the next lecture.